Hip hop, you failed us completely. And this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Y'all done stuff. I mean, hip hop in the last 15 years has been like really, 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 really deplorable. But this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the icing on the cake. This, to me, is the worst of the worst, in my opinion. I'm sorry. This is the worst. People may disagree with me, but this is how I feel. Hot 97, I've known y'all wasn't shit from jump. That's why I was a fan of 98.7 Kiss FM. Then I went to Power 105.1, and the only time that we had to listen to hip hop was during some of the worst moments of my life. I hate Hot 97. I can't stand Hot 97. I think y'all the worst station ever in hip hop. And I'm going to say something that many people may not say. DJ Star, he was right about y'all. Y'all are trash. Y'all are slop 97. Because if y'all weren't sloppy, why would you hire one of the men who took part in the lynching of Yusuf Hawkins, okay? And was convicted and found guilty. And yes, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to read an article. And I'm going to go into, because let me say something. I was a kid when this happened. And this is from my city, all right? And this thing bothered me. And I was just a child at the age of 6. So I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to break it down, especially for my non-New Yorkers. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is your girl, Miss Analytical. Yes, I'm saying Miss Analytical. I'm back. I'm back in full effect. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody that not only have supported me, but my new subscribers. I appreciate you all coming over to my channel. I have great content and more to come. Stay tuned. Your support, comments, love has been appreciated. I appreciate it. And thank you so much, because if it wasn't for y'all just shut the haters down. So I want to go into this whole thing with Yusuf Hawkins. For those of you who don't know about Yusuf Hawkins, he was a 16-year-old young black youth who lived in Brooklyn, the section of East New York. And what occurred is that him and a couple of his friends, and I believe a family member, they were going to the section, the Bensonhurst neighborhood, to buy a car. It was a 1982 car they were buying, and they were just looking to purchase it, and they were trying to get tires. What happened was there was a mob, and it was an Italian group of youth, and they were looking to literally kill a black guy because a white girl, probably Italian, who was from their neighborhood, had complained, according to them, that a black guy had basically, tried to do something to her. Pretty much that old stuff that from like back in the 20s. Now, this is 1989 when this happened. So these kids not only had baseball bats, but they also had a gun. And they shot and pumped bullets into Yusuf Hawkins. And then they also beat him, but then they pumped bullets into him. And, he was killed. He was murdered. And he was murdered because he was black. Now, at this time, this wasn't considered a hate crime racially. There wasn't a statute. So because if it wasn't a statute, it wasn't deemed a federal offense. It was only a state crime. Unfortunately, Yusuf, even though they were convicted, he didn't get the full justice that he deserved. And unfortunately, one of the people who didn't get a harsh sentence, he was able to not only go among society, but he infiltrated hip hop to where he became a prominent executive producer of Hot 97. So all them hip hop songs that y'all heard played, and that was made big in New York, he took part in that. He influenced the culture and shaped the culture of hip hop. And it wasn't until the Storm Over Brooklyn documentary that premiered last week, that's when his name came up, and that's when he got fired from Hot 97 because allegedly there was a pouring outcry. I don't believe that shit. I believe that Hot 97 Clear Channel is covering their tracks. No, I'm sorry, not Clear Channel. Ennis Broadcasting. They're covering their tracks. It's Emmys, not Clear. I'll take that back. I'm sorry. That used to be Power 105. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. So I'm gonna read from Complex Magazine because I do find them to be credible in a sense. I can't read OK Player because that whole Questlove thing with Jaguar Wright. I'm sorry, that article, it ain't going into a whole bunch of explaining. It's just a surface article. So we're gonna go into the one from Complex, and I'm gonna read another one. So it says Hot 97 fires Patty Duke, Patty with 2 D's, after Doc reveals alleged ties to mob that killed Yusuf Hawkins. So it says Hot 97 announced Sunday that it cut ties with Pasquale Raucci, also known as Patty Duke, amid accusations made against him contained within the HBO documentary Yusuf Hawkins, Storm Over Brooklyn. After watching HBO's Storm Over Brooklyn, Hot 97 was shocked and took swift action. Patty Duke is no longer employed by Hot 97, the station's tweets read. The march for justice continues. The Muta Ali Muhammad directed documentary, which debuted earlier this month, recounts the murder of Hawkins, who was shot and killed in 1989 by a large mob of white men. Hawkins was 16 years old when he traveled with 3 friends to Bensonhurst to check out a 1982 Pontiac on sale. That was the car. It was a Pontiac, and like I said, it was a 1982 car. They were confronted by the mob who were looking to attack a group of black people that included someone they believed to be dating a white girl they knew. Now, I'm going to say this. When I was a kid, how the story was reported was that they felt that the black guy was doing something to the white girl, that they were harming her. Now, they never mentioned the R word, but what I believe in their terms, a white girl having sex with a black guy was harmful to them. So that's what they thought was a crime in their eyes. But if you know about the history of Italians in New York, particularly Italian men, they secretly love black women. They love black women. For real. Like, for real. They secretly do. Like, they date on the low, but you also have a lot of them that marry black women openly. Especially if a black woman is Catholic, they will marry her. Okay? And I'm not praising it, but I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you the truth. But they don't like their women to date black men. But they can date black women. Their women can't date black men. They don't like it. So I'm gonna continue. Hawkins and his friends were surrounded by the white men, some of which were carrying baseball bats as the confrontation escalated. Hawkins was fatally shot by someone in a mob, causing everyone to retreat. Raucci was later cleared of murder charges for his involvement in the shooting, and he was convicted on a lesser count. That's why he was able to assimilate into mainstream society, and he was able to get that job at Hot 97. Now, Raucci's LinkedIn page reveals that he would go on to work for Hot 97 for decades, and he was employed by MS Communications in 1994, just only 5 years after Hawkins' death. Now, I'm going to say this, though. If you know the history of New York City radio in the 1990s, Hot 97 was a dance station. They played dance music. They didn't become a hip-hop station until around about late 1992, early 1993. Because at that time, it was Kiss FM, which is my favorite radio station of all time, and WBLS 107.5, classic black-owned radio station. So when Hot 97 came into the mold, it was ran by nothing but white people. Okay, I'm going to say this. Nothing but white people. And I didn't feel the heart and soul of hip-hop in Hot 97 because it was a dance station. You know, it wasn't black orientated. They didn't really talk about black issues at the time. It was just basically a station that was founded on dance music, freestyle, that switched over to hip-hop. And I hate them because as a kid, I felt that they forced 98.7 Kiss FM to become this oldies but goodies station. And Hot 97 was a giant of hip hop in New York. And a lot of those hip hop beefs that was going on, I'm going to keep it real with you. Hot 97 fueled that shit. Hot 97 fueled that shit between Tupac and Biggie. That wasn't Kiss FM and that was WBLS. Hot 97 has a lot of blood on their hands. So I'm not surprised that they hired this dude, okay? And he got hired the year. I want everybody to listen to this. This is very important. He got hired the year the East Coast, West Coast beef got triggered. I want y'all to get this in your heads. Patty Duke got hired in 1994, the year when the East Coast, West Coast beef started taking place in hip hop. Up to that time, there was no beef. For all we know, this cat could have been planted, by Hot 97 to do this. That's why I hate Hot 97. And now this confirms all my feelings. So all y'all that was cool with me back in the day, that hated the fact that I listened to WBLS, Power 105.1, and Hot 97, told y'all they wasn't shit. I told y'all they was trash. And I told y'all one day it's going to all be revealed. The only person that has always vocally spoken about this was DJ Star, towards Troy Terrain. He hated Tracy Cloherty. He called him Slot 97. That's why he came out with Shot 97 back in the day, a couple years ago. Better station than Hot 97 if you ask me. And he called them out. They was trash. They're sloppy. And I know he going to go into this tonight. I know he going to talk about it. And I'm done. I'm not done, but they're done. They're done with it because, like I said, 2020 is a year of revelation and the truth is coming out. Now, this is my only thing. How many Patty Dukes are in all these radio stations? How many of them became television executives? How many of them became, for all we know, TV personalities? This man, it does not have a common last name. If you're familiar with Italians, because I was raised Catholic, so this is how I know this. Italians do not have common last names. The most common last name is Conti. That's the only one that a lot of Italians have. Italian people do not have common last names. So even before, this is the age, when he got hired, this was like the beginning of the age of the internet going public, okay? You can't tell me they didn't do a thorough background check on this dude and know that he was convicted of a crime. Because back then, you could have found it out. He didn't look different. The only thing that happened was he cut his hair down a little bit. He probably passed himself off and told people that he was half Puerto Rican, had a Puerto Rican mother and Italian father. Okay? There is no way. And the fact that his name was in the papers, in the Daily News, there's no way that Hot 97 didn't know this shit. That's what's got me electrified. They had to have known this. And this man influenced the culture of hip-hop. He became an executive producer. And according to the source, it said Raucci, who was shown in the Storm Over Brooklyn documentary, they detailed his hiring at Hot 97 in 1984, and also his close work with award-winning on-air personality Angie Martinez. They was close. You not going to tell me she didn't know either? You're not going to tell me that? You're not going to tell me they didn't know? What about the people from Bensonhurst? Italians, believe it or not, a lot of Italians are fans of hip hop, especially in Brooklyn, places in Queens, Long Island. They listen to hip hop heavily. Okay, you're not going to tell me they didn't know? That they didn't know, and that somebody didn't tell them in Hot 97. What about the rappers in hip hop that walked through the doors and passed by Patty Duke? You can't tell me that they didn't know. You can't tell me that these big rappers that became multi-millionaires, some billionaires, didn't know about this dude and his past. I'm holding all of y'all asses accountable for this shit. All of y'all. Okay? And I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to be honest with my subscribers, with my supporters, with the people that commentate on my channel a lot. I believe this is going to be the end of hip-hop as we know it. I'm sorry. I'm just come out and say it. I really believe it. I believe it because this is not just some bloke who happened to work at the station. This is somebody who became an executive producer, who helped to influence the culture. Hot 97 was a major player in hip-hop from 94 up until, I would say, until the Breakfast Club became big. They were a major force of the hip-hop culture. You can't tell me that this dude, y'all didn't know. But whether y'all admit it or not, the blood on his hands from the killing of Yusuf Hawkins, a 16-year-old black man, translated to where people, black youth, was being influenced by the music that this man probably picked to be on the air. And the culture started shifting. And what was happening around the 90s? Violence, New York, pop, 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 pop. Instead of whites killing blacks, blacks was killing other blacks heavily. It makes you really wonder. It really makes you really wonder if he was an agent of chaos planted in the Hot 97. If he was doing a job. Because I believe they knew. There's no way they didn't know. So with that being said, I'm signing off. I'm just so angry about this shit. I'm just angry about it. But in the meantime, thank you all for listening to my commentary. I appreciate it. I welcome all of your comments. Thank you for your support. And I will be back soon. Take care. Enjoy your day. If you're on lunch, enjoy your lunch. If you're having time off, on vacation, enjoy it. Talk to you soon. Take care. Love y'all.